right. Welcome, everybody, back to the 2025 CUSA Football Kickoff and Media Day. We're joined by Missouri State head coach Ryan Beard. He's going to start with an opening statement. Then we'll open to questions. Those on Zoom, please type your questions in the chat, and we'll try to get to those as well. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Good morning. Hope everybody's had a great start to the week. What a beautiful facility we're at today. I want to first thank Judy and her staff at Conference USA. Great event. I mean, top-notch people, attention to detail, and everything that we've done the last 2 days. And they've actually been able to pour into our student athletes. A lot of times you go to media days and it's just the pictures, it's just the talking to the media and whatnot. They had some really good programs for our student athletes that we were able to bring with us, and we really, really appreciate that. It's football time. I know everybody's excited. You're excited. I'm excited. The whole country's excited, and what a time to be excited. We were just playing the NCAA college football game out there, and just to see our players be able to play with themselves. Obviously, there is no FCS college football game. There is an FBS game, and we are in the game. So that's a huge deal. And for people to be able to play that worldwide and to be able to create Missouri State Bears fans just by plugging in a console to a TV, how cool is that? The connectivity of that is just really, really impactful. I'm extremely humbled to be the head coach of Missouri State right now in this historic time. I would be curious to see how many head coaches have gone through the FCS to FBS transition, not only as a player but as a coach. I got to go through that transition at Western Kentucky as a player, and now I'm fortunate enough to do it at Missouri State as a head football coach. Extremely blessed opportunity to be here. I believe in what we're doing at Missouri State. Our administration has a great vision for what they want this football program and university to look like. We have tremendous student athletes within those walls. They believe in our processes. We know how to be successful, and I'm excited about the future of Missouri State. I'll open it up for some questions.
I'll open to questions in the room. Did you hold it down?
There we go. Coach, you've talked about your relationship with Western Kentucky coach Tyson Helton. Is he still giving you advice on things? Is he still kind of a mentor? Just how has that worked now that you're in the same league?
Yeah, he's still a mentor. I actually messaged him last night and asked what he was wearing to one of the events we had, just to make sure that I was on par with everybody in the room. Didn't want to be too dressed up, didn't want to be too dressed down, and he actually wore what he told me he was going to wear. I didn't know Wyatt if he was going to, have some fun with it and kind of set me up, but he's a good man. He does things the right way. Western Kentucky's a great program. I had a lot of respect for those guys. And I would be remiss to say congrats on the wedding. Congrats to you and your wife. That's a really cool deal, and thanks for being here for us.
Ken Capps from Football Writings of America.
Nice to meet you, Ken.
Nice to meet you. Ryan, what's it going to be like transferring to FBS, and what do you think is going to be the most challenging thing for your team?
It's a great opportunity. We speak about opportunity all the time in our program of not only our student athletes but our coaches or the city of Springfield to grow in ways they never thought possible through football. It's an incredible thing to be able to grow that through the game. And there will be trials, there will be tough moments. But I think one thing that bodes well for us is being able to have come from the Missouri Valley Conference, which is without a doubt the best conference in FCS football. When you look back at the perennial national champions, it comes from that league. And I think we did a great job going 8-4 last year. We put together the first, series of 6 wins since I was born in '89. So that's pretty impressive, and I think it's a good thing for, again, just kind of our momentum moving forward. I think Conference USA is a great conference. I think there's tremendous coaches. I think there's tremendous players, and what an opportunity it is for us to come in and see what we can do.
By the way, all my kinfolk live in Lebanon, Missouri.
Really?
Right up the road.
You got to come see us. Hey, whenever you're in town, you let me know.
Okay.
Coach Bo Carter with Sports Page Dallas, congratulations again on the move. I talked a little bit, Missouri State's got great baseball programs down through the years, tradition, and plus you mentioned the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Talk a little bit about how your success might translate over into D1 or FBS.
Yeah, can I get your name? Did you say your name was Bo?
Carter, yeah.
Nice to meet you, Bo. My son's name's Bo.
Oh, good.
I think we'll get along really well.
Good name.
No, I think it'll bode extremely well. One of my mentors on campus is Keith Gutton. Keith is a legendary baseball coach, one of the best human beings you can ever be around. If you're having a bad day and you need some words of wisdom, call Keith Gutton. He can give it to you, shoots it straight. Just everything that our baseball program is done at a high level, from how you enter the building to how you treat people to how you take care of your locker room. And he's been a tremendous sounding board for me just to come to for advice and be able to listen to kind of his struggles, because he took our baseball program from D2 to D1. So I'm not saying it's the exact same challenges, but it's always relative to be able to hear from a high quality coach that's won at a high level and to be able to grow from that. And again, I said it earlier, I think it bodes really well for us coming from a conference that it's week in, week out, really competitive. And I think that's the one thing about the Valley that people don't realize is every single week you have to show up and be at your best self, or there's a chance you get beat. And our players have understood that, and I think that will help us out going into Conference USA.
Middle, Bo, can you hand the mic?
Coach, as a player back in when you were a redshirt freshman, you were kind of in that proving mode of going up to FBS, and now you find yourself as a coach in that proving mode going up to FBS, and you kind of see the preseason polls, last place. And you, at a player, you saw the same thing. What's it like, kind of going into that with that mentality of kind of having to work your way up?
Ryan, I think that fits us perfect. I think that's who we are as an organization. That's who I am as a person. I like the underdog role. I like people counting you out. I don't mind people saying you can't do this, you can't do that, because throughout my entire life, our entire time together at Missouri State, we've done just that. We've put our heads down, we've grinded, we've stuck to our processes, and we have a certain level of belief in what we're doing in our building. And to me, that's all it takes. The polls are great. I respect the media. I like talking to you guys. I'm glad that you guys have fun with all those different types of things, and don't take this personally. I looked at it and moved on with my day, because again, I understand how we do things and how to be successful, and our players have embodied it on a day-to-day basis. Right when I took over as the head coach, they go, "We're not going to win. First-time head coach. Oh, we're back to the old Missouri State days." It didn't happen. All right, went 4-7, then went 8-4. Would have been a playoff team, and I think we would have made some noise in the playoffs. But our journey at that point was to go into the off season with some excitement for Conference USA and get ready to meet with you fine folks.
Yes. A couple questions on Zoom real quick. Kevin Burrell, can you talk about transfer running back Shamari Lawrence? What's impressed you about him and how much you lean on him this year?
Yeah, Kevin, really good question. Shamari is a tremendous talent. I hope you've got to meet the young man. He's a great person. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's one of those guys, a lot like me in our program. He's got a lot to prove. He's a guy that wants to carry the majority of the load. The one thing you'll see about Shamari is his vision and ability to hit creases. He's really got some great first step burst, and then he can also has some breakaway speed. So I'm excited to see his role grow. It's a tremendous running back room that he's come into, obviously having to replace Jacardier Wright, who's with the Seattle Seahawks at this point, and a few other guys that have gone about their own lives. But Shamari's going to be a great contribution to our football team, and I'm excited to see him going into camp.
And one from Jake Gibson from Lemon City Live. Coach, talk about the opportunity in your first season in the FBS to host a power conference and playoff opponent in SMU.
Incredible, really. I mean, I can't even really put into words. We have SMU coming to Plaster Stadium in Springfield, Missouri. I think when everyone read that, I think they probably took a double take and went, hold on, SMU, I don't think that's, the right one, but it is. We're excited about it. Again, I think it's one of those things that it will put visual evidence on why Missouri State was so strongly opinionated on making this move and why it matters so much. You're going to have private jets flying into our regional airport. You're going to have the RVs pulling up on a Wednesday. You're going to have people that are absolute maniacs about college football and have a burning desire for their football teams, cheering for their team in our stadium. What better visual than that to show that this is why we made the move to FBS. This is what our fan base can become, and there's no doubt we can do it at Missouri State.
I think we got time for one more right here.
Coach, generally the biggest difference people will say between like SCS opponents and teams in FBS is up front on the lines, especially when you're making a transition like you are. How do you feel about your offensive and defensive lines coming into the season?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Everything starts up front. From the traditional start of football, it's all about your offensive and defensive front. Our guys have played a lot of football together. The measurables aren't going to just blow you out of the water, but offensively, you look back at your offensive line, those guys have been starting together since they were sophomores. I think there's a lot to be said about continuity. The guys that have played together, guys that have understanding what Jacob wants behind him protection-wise, that's a big deal. I think that we'll be able to do a much better job of, getting in and out of our advantage runs, getting in and out of the protections we need to get into. Same thing on the defensive line. We've got some guys that transferred in on the edge that should do a good job. DJ Wesselek, Devon Townley from Penn State, as well as Caden Wiest, a local guy from Springfield. And then I'm really excited about the interior. I think we grew up a lot last year. A guy named Jills Chio on the interior, big human being, strong at the point of attack. And again, I go back, I know I've referenced this a lot, and you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but it's the truth. In the Missouri Valley Conference, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, I would argue that their measurables look like some Power 5 schools. And again, obviously we got beat by those teams last year, but it just shows that we've played that level of offensive and defensive line and kind of understand a little bit how to handle those situations.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
We'll be back with FIU head coach Willie Simmons here at 10:20.